start recording. So why a raft and retreat trip? We want to build those relationships, especially after a year of not being able to be together in person as much. We think that that's super important. We want to be outdoors. We want to help us see God's beautiful world. We want to worship together. It's been a long time since we've sang sanctuary, or really a lot of things. And so hopefully we can build back some of those worship gifts together, and just to have some fun. It would be a great opportunity for that. So this trip is for current 8th to 12th grade students at POP. So we want to invite all of our POP family and adult guides from POP too. And so we are going to start, hey guys, with a limit of 30 is where we are right now. But that's just because that's how many spaces we've reserved. We can go up. And so to give you a kind of a clue, our last detour, I think we had 50 students and 10 adults. So I think we'll probably be between 30 and 45 people, but we want to get everybody signed up so that we have those spaces reserved, because there's only so many spots in the boats. And just like a lot of things around us are at lower capacity, the rafting company, based on transportation, they're trying to keep those group numbers down. So we may have to split into 2 groups about that. There've been some of you that might wonder about inviting a friend on this trip. And usually, that is my definitely always invite a friend. This time we're going to start with those in the POP community, because we want to make sure that we have a chance to have anybody who is interested, who is a part of POP first. And then if we have space to open up to guests or college students, we will do that. But we are going to start with current 8th to 12th grade students. Adult guides, we're going to try to stick with a good ratio of about 1 to 6 students, guides to students. That's usually plenty. There is a place on our registration form where you can sign up if you're interested in that. And we'll kind of build the team after we know exactly how many students. We're going to leave Thursday after lunch, and the idea would be that we would get on the road. We're going to head to where we're staying, and then we're going to raft on Friday. There's some other really cool adventure spots near for hiking. There's some really cool Laurel Caverns are up there. They're closed right now, but I'm hopeful that with some of the good news about COVID, that they might open, and we might be able to add that as a possible side trip to go see some really cool caves. There are some other things, but we're going to definitely, the center of this trip is the rafting trip. If you are not a rafter, but you want to just go because you love the retreat part of it, you do not have to go rafting, but we will need at least a couple people that are not interested in rafting to make sure that that's worth it. We will take parent and adult driven vehicles. Our safe sanctuary policy at POP is that we would have our drivers be 25 and up, and all of our adult guides will be background checked, and so they will drive, and we may rent a vehicle or 2 just to make sure we have enough space. And yeah, that's how we'll get there. So without any additional add-ons like Laurel Caverns or the Frank Lloyd Wright houses up there, the total will be $130, with $30 of that is coming from POP through a couple of fundraisers we've got coming up, and just that we budget some money for this trip, and so it's a good way to do that. So you can see the biggest part of that is the actual rafting trip. But we're going to be staying at a campsite, and I'll show you some pictures of what that looks like here in just a few. We're going to pay for the driver's gas, and if we have to pay for a rental, that'll help offset that. We'll pay for all meals, starting with Thursday dinner until Saturday lunch. This place where we're going is a pretty fun campsite where they've got like a camp store with snacks and stuff, but usually there is no shortage of food on these youth group trips. We'll get a t-shirt. The rafting trip is included. If you want to get things like pictures or souvenirs, that would be on you. But one of the goals of this was to keep it a very affordable trip so that all could participate and all can be excited. If finances are a question, please feel free to contact me. We have people in our community that always want youth to have these opportunities. And so they would love to help support anyone that might need that. So we have financial assistance available. We are going to use a company, my friend in Gahanna, he takes his group and he really highly recommended this one. And after doing some research, decided that we will be also using this one. It is called Whitewater Adventures. So I'm going to pull that site up just to show you. So the web address is www.raft.com. You can kind of learn more about the site. And it's only been 5 minutes, but I already forget. Again, we are going on the lower
Youghiogheny River.
The lower Yaak. And that's the one that they recommend for groups of beginners. Even if, some of you have been before, but we all count as beginners on this trip because you've never been on a rafting trip with me. And so the rapids, it's class 2 to 4. And so there will be some splashing, there will be some definite adventure, but we're not talking about, the goal is to stay in the raft. The goal is to be safe. And to have a great time. There will probably be some that take the more adventurous route from past experience. If PJ is in your boat, he probably will say, let's go left, and I will be on the one that goes right. And so we'll make sure that people feel comfortable in their group. The river itself is a dam controlled river. And so that means that it will have rapids in July. July is a drier time of the year, but the way that they're able to do that to make sure that it's still a fun experience is to do that. So they have all the supplies we need: life jackets, helmets, paddles. We will not have a guide in the boat, but there will be a guide on our trip with us. So I'm going to show just this quick little video. I don't think there's any sound, but you can see just some of the sites around. Around there, and their Facebook page has lots of fun videos. I don't watch too much of them because it makes me I'm excited, but it's a healthy adventure fear that I've got. So you can see lots of fun. We will not be in kayaks. We will be in rafts, 4 to 6, maybe 8 to 10 even, depending. So if you are one that wants to kind of go back to that, again, the name of the group is Whitewater Adventurers. Where will we sleep? This is something we have not done, I think, since I was in high school. We have not taken a youth group camping trip. So this is all new, but PJ's gone on youth group camping trips, and I know a lot of you are scouts and your families camp, so you're gonna have to teach me about this. I'm more of a glamper than a camper. We will have some of us in tents and some of us will be in a barn style dorm. That's the name of the campground if you want to look it up, Benner's Meadow Run Campground. And the cool thing is it's like not just, they just have a lot of fun resources. This is where my friend Greg stays. They have a pool we'll be able to use, the familiar Gaga pit. This was exciting to me. There's ice cream you can buy after you've survived the yuck. They have putt-putt on site. This is what the barns, there's a couple of barns where some people who are not in a tent will stay. I think we've got 2 of those reserved right now, so that's 12 people, but we'll go from there. COVID is a part of any group and any trip. And so as we are doing our best to stay healthy, we will be living into this together. There's a lot of unknowns, as you guys know, things have changed so many times this year. But one of the reasons we planned an outdoor trip was because we wanted to make sure that that it had a little extra safety built in. So outdoors will be safer in some ways. We will travel and sleep in cohorts. So we'll try to keep a small group of people together. We ask that before the trip, 72 hours before and the day we leave, to do a self-screening. If you have been exposed to COVID, if you are currently sick, if you are quarantining due to recommendations of the health department, we'll ask you to stay home. If we can find someone to fill your space, we will. But that is an important part of making sure that everybody stays safe. So tonight, this is the information session. Tomorrow morning, the registration will go live. And like I said, the first 30 spots are definitely guaranteed, but I do not anticipate there being a problem getting people in. It might just be that we have to split up rafting trips, which you're going to be at a boat with your 4 to 6 people anyways. We're all going to be split up in a way. There's a lot more information on this page, but also it just kind of sums it all up. And then the link to register is on here as well. So you will register using Realm. That's how we will do all of the permission forms and all that once we get a little closer. But mostly just want to make sure that you have all the information you need tonight. If you have more questions, that's what we'll do now. I'm going to stop sharing and we'll go back and you can unmute yourself if you have a question. I will.
So like, what if it rains the day we're going?
So
rafting?
That's one of the reasons why we've built in the Thursday and Friday, so that if the weather looks, they do have they do them in the rain. If it is thunderstorming, they will not do them. If there's lightning. So we could do it Saturday morning before their first goal is to reschedule us for the next day. But if we can't go and they cancel the trip, it is refunded. That part of our trip is. I've never been camping where it hasn't rained, so I'm planning on rain. Any other questions?
I was just asking for the campground. So for the campground, you might have said that, are there showers there?
Yep, there's showers, there's facilities. It's a very, it's like a fun little town. They kind of described it. They've got lots of places to stay. We are going to be all, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. So right now we've got enough sites where we're going to be kind of secluded. And it's going to be our group, and we'll have our own campfire spot and our own. So let me share my screen and show you that, where we will be.
So if it stormed in the night or whatever, that I know I've jumped in campground bathrooms and things like that.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yes, and they are also doing a smaller. They have a less capacity this year for COVID for now, and so if you look over here to your left, we are these barns, barn 163 and barn 164, and we're these 4 camp sites, 165 to 168. So that's where we are definitely. So you can see some of the other, they have a pond for fishing. They've got restrooms that are not too far from where we are, with showers, playgrounds, and they have mini golf, and they've got a couple other things that we're, they might have their arcade. They're waiting for COVID restrictions to change before they would say if that would be open or not. So. Any other questions?
Mary Ellen, it's Adrian.
Yes.
So I'm assuming, are you asking people then to bring tents and all that other stuff, or?
So a couple things. When you sign up, there's a plan. If you have a tent, you can share that you have a tent. My friend Brian from North Star had lunch with him last week, and he takes a group to camp at Holiday World every year. And he said, you can borrow all of our stuff. And they have a lot of stuff. So we hope to bring some tents from our group and some from them. And once we have an idea of how many people, we'll kind of figure out who wants to stay in those barns and who wants to stay in a tent, and mix, have our groups split by the cohorts that I kind of talked about, so that we can make sure that people are generally, in close quarters with the same group of five,
Right.
I think is the max. 6 is the max in those cabins.
So we'll, similar to what we did on the detour last time, we'll be providing like the breakfast and lunch and dinners and all that other jazz, or so will we be cooking over an open fire and all that other jazz?
It's a good question. Yes, we probably
Yeah.
will do at least one, a couple of meals over that. We'll probably also do we'll definitely do s'mores. We'll probably do a pizza day, but we're definitely going to do some campfire. I got to figure that out. Jonathan is saying yes, excitedly.
Now, if I catch a fish in that pond,
Yeah, and they said tell your crew to bring fishing poles. I bet it's a catch and release pond, but you are welcome
Probably,
to bring a
yeah.
fishing pole.
I think we
Alright.
should do, the hobo.
That they do. Yeah, hobos. I could do that.
Yeah. Bow packets or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
Any
classic meal.
Any other questions? I say I'm not a camper, but I did homestead camp when I was a kid, where there was no running water, no electricity, and we cooked every meal over the fire. So I just need to return to my 7th and 8th grade roots.
There you go.
So again, any in the POP community are welcome and included on this trip. If we're able to open it up to people that are not a part of our youth group, we will let you know. But we're going to start with this crew to make sure that our POP fam has a spot. And it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to mostly just being with you. All the other stuff is a perk, the rafting and the camping and the hobo stew.
Hey, Mary Ellen, I forgot to ask you, where is the trip at? Is it West Virginia? No, where is it?
It's Pennsylvania. Actually, I've got I pulled up some cool pictures. It's in Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania is where we'll be. And then these are some pictures from around the area. So
It's not far from the panhandle of West Virginia, but
that's beautiful.
But it's definitely Pennsylvania.
So yeah, and if you one email I said it was Tennessee, and that was wrong. I don't know where I got that from.
Okay, so how far of a drive from here?
I think it's about 5 or 6 hours. I've pulled it up a couple times.
Sorry, I'm just.
No, that's okay. And yeah, that I know that it's that time of year where people will be coming from vacation or have tryouts or things like that, and we will be as flexible as we can be. So yeah, right around 5 hours. So you can see it on the map there. So south of Pittsburgh, north of Morgantown.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar with that road. I drove it twice in the past 4 months.
It's been a busy time for you up there.
Yeah. But I'm familiar with Route 70.
Absolutely. Any other questions? All right. Well, I will stay on. Adults, I know Brady has asked, he's interested. I've got a couple other adults that are interested. If you know that you're interested, the best thing is when we open our registration to fill it out. You don't have to pay anything as an adult until we build the, have the final word on the team. But that way I'll be able to keep track of all that in one place. I know PJ is going, so we know that Pastor Jonathan and I will be there. Pastor Lily is hoping to be able to join us. And we will have probably a couple 21 and up adult youth young adult guides. So, but this is a high school trip first. So, oh, and Sadie says it's time to go. So if you don't have questions, you can go. But if you do, Sadie. But if you do, I will stick on. So thank you guys so much. I'm really, really excited for this chance, and it's really nice to see you. Have a good
Thank you,
evening.
Mary Ellen.
Yep. Take care.
Take care.
Mary Ellen.